of new indie game trailers to check out, where we have our usual set of games on Kickstarter, but this particular lot does have some innovative games, as well as a fan favourite in a different form and some visually stunning games, all this and more coming right up. Let's begin with Running on Magic, a pixel art runner title where you play as a wizard who is constantly being chased by the Grim Reaper, not in a metaphorical sense like all of us, but quite literally in this case. This has procedurally generated levels with your inputs being limited to jump, float and stomp, but it looks so pretty that I have to give it a mention. I love my monster taming games, which is why Dokimon plus Montamer Maker gets my attention, another pixel art title that looks very much like Pokemon Gold and Silver, but the developers are also making a game maker application specifically for this type of game, where they previously made new monsters on Steam, which is interesting, so do support this if you can. This video is brought to you by Codename Wandering Sword, an open-world pixel art RPG that has a Chinese wuxia theme, which, if you're not familiar, literally translates to martial heroes, a genre of fiction that focuses on Chinese martial artists and their adventures in the world. Of course, I do love my pixel art and this game looks absolutely stunning, telling a story of a young man caught up in a conflict between two rival factions and how your actions will change the world. Most interestingly, this has a choice of combat modes with turn-based, grid-based tactical RPG combat versus a real-time option, which is an interesting feature to have in this game. It is an RPG through and through, with equipment, leveling up, skills and special abilities which are based on Chinese martial arts, even having dynamically evolving NPCs, side missions and multiple endings. Add to that a friendship system with the various characters, where you may just be able to convince them to join you, and you have a very interesting entry, with of course some inspiration from Octopath Traveler. If it looks good, be sure to check out the game on Steam via the link below and wishlist the game. Speaking of gorgeous titles, I may have inadvertently chosen some of the most beautiful games in development to be compiled together in this video, with the adventure game Monorail Stories currently on Kickstarter seeking funding. This is a slice-of-life narrative that follows the day-to-day lives of two characters, one from City M and another from City L, where they take the monorail in between the two cities every day at different times, with the narrative being about humanity, friendship and intertwining fates. This game has been in development for quite a while, with this being the final leg to release in Q4, with funds from this being used to finish and polish the game as well as dubbing and translation work. With the campaign rewards honestly not being very impressive, looking like a pre-order campaign by another name, but a beautiful game that's worth a look. We do also have the relaunch of the campaign for Culebra and the Souls of Limbo, a papercraft adventure game that I think looks fantastic, taking inspiration from both Paper Mario and Majora's Mask. Already being fully funded, but there is a funny story here. Between the first campaign in November 2021 and now, they have essentially reduced the funding target by 84%, where the current amount raised as of recording is just shy of what was pledged the previous time around, so that's one way of making a Kickstarter campaign successful, where I do wonder if they managed to secure additional funding in the 6 months in between. Focusing more on the game itself, this is an adventure game that has you exploring limbo, trying to break an endless time loop and to help souls move on. But the time of day, like in Majora's Mask, does matter, and the routines of each character is something that you have to learn, but I do think that it looks good getting a spot on the list. I really don't know what to think of Tape to Tape, since it is a hockey game which is not a sport that I follow, but get this, it is a roguelite management action title for some reason which makes it very interesting, cool and weird. You're placed in charge of the worst hockey team in the league, having to travel through the hockey world from node to node like in Slay the Spire. Losing a game ends the season, but you unlock new players and can grow permanently stronger, where you do have direct control during the matches as well, which is interesting. It is already fully funded, but do check it out for stretch goals and rewards. We did just get a teaser for Paladins when I last talked about this, where this is a very cute co-op narrative RPG currently on Kickstarter and is already fully funded. You play as one of 4 characters, with the task of throwing a party, but things quickly take a turn for the worse when an ancient dragon reawakens and is wreaking havoc. It does resemble more of something like Monster Prom, where characters go off and try to accomplish various objectives, with choose your own adventure and RPG elements like a tabletop game, which makes this awesome. Let's kick off the top 3 with Among Us VR, the VR adaptation of the very popular title that does not need further explanation, where there's something uniquely horrifying about playing this game in first person, almost turning it into a horror game like Alien Isolation. Line of sight and awareness is the most important part of such games, so this particular iteration is even more interesting, where I do wonder if this will have an effect on headset sales. I love cute puzzle games, so of course Railbound is a title of interest, one where you're building out railway tracks in order for carriages to connect to the train, coming to us from the developer of Golf Peaks and Invento, which are titles that I love, making it for fans of the genre. I have a little bit of an unorthodox entry here with Mothman 1966, an adventure game set in 1966 about the strange occurrences during a meteor shower. This intentionally has an art style and colour scheme that looks like those from PCs in the 1980s, which does add to the overall vibe of the game, resembling something like the X-Files or Twin Peaks. There are branching paths, choose your own adventure style gameplay, which determines the fates of characters, as well as plenty of puzzles, where a young couple, a gas station owner, and a paranormal investigator are drawn into a larger conspiracy. There are nightmarish creatures lurking in the dark, as well as men in black lurking around, where the pixel art and dithering on this is simply awesome, taking the #1 spot. For more pixel art titles, watch these videos and I will see you after the jump.